Alex, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Frankie. Let's start with some of the biggest news from the first day of the RNC. Former President Donald Trump selected Senator J.D. Vance as his running mate for vice president in the 2024 presidential election. This is getting praise from some of the biggest Republicans in the party thus far. Watching all the coverage, the biggest names in Republican politics are approving of this choice. So you just heard from Mayor Cavalier Johnson. He was recapping a lot of topics this morning, including a few arrests. But then he transitioned to the topic that I was curious if he would mention today, which is the political differences, which he chose not to touch on yesterday due to the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump. But I did think that perhaps he would speak about that today, which he did. He mentioned the lack of experience for VP nominee J.D. Vance, selected by former President Donald Trump yesterday. He is young. He's just 39 years old. And then he gave his full support to President Joe Biden and VP Kamala Harris. He ended with touching on a few traffic issues, but obviously you guys see there's a lot going on, and we'll hear from him throughout this week. Thank you so much, Adam. We'll be covering day 2 of the RNC from Fiserv Forum all day long right here on CBS 58. So make sure you stay with us both on the air and online at CBS58.com. But Frankie, I think it's going to be another busy day at Fiserv Forum. Reporting at Fiserv, Alex Corradetti, CBS 58 News.
All righty, Alex, thank you so much. We'll continue to check in with you throughout the morning.
Now, some delegates and key political figures are now taking advantage of Wisconsin by visiting areas that are less populated than downtown Milwaukee right now.
And they check out, maybe they really love architecture, maybe they want to go to the beach. It's almost been, we're making itineraries for every single person.
That was Carrie Grieving from Visit Racine County, a friend of CBS 58, and she says that people are really heading out to Racine right now to highlight the businesses, the hotels. There is so much going on in downtown Racine, as I've reported on several times. People are heading out there to stay for the RNC. Justin, thank you so much. And while so much is happening at day 2 of the RNC here inside Fiserv Forum, there is also a lot happening outside of the perimeter, including a march against the RNC that happened on day 1 of the RNC. Thousands of protesters chanted and held signs opposing the GOP. They're getting a taste of what our city has to offer. That includes some of the fine foods that we all know and love, one of which is getting a lot of attention on social media right now. Take a look. This was posted by our friend at CW26 Chicago, Brandon Pope. Posted this to X last night, showing he was grabbing something to eat at Dorsia over on Brady Street. You can see he has the famous pasta flight and called the Milwaukee food scene underrated. The post has more than 7 million views and a lot of mixed reviews. Some responded saying they heard the Milwaukee food scene was great, but seeing wet pasta served on wood was quite the turnoff. What do you guys think?
You know, I've heard of it. I heard that it's a really good food. I'd be down to try it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there is so many great Milwaukee foods. That's not like one that you think Wisconsin or Milwaukee and thinking pasta, but that's another good place.
It's another great place here in the MKE.
Yeah, it's definitely unique. And you know what they say, you're never upsetty with a plate of spaghetti.
All righty, Alex.
Good morning. We're here at Fiserv Forum on day 2 of the RNC. Happy to be here. Day 1 was quite busy. We saw former President Donald Trump come out for a surprise appearance to a song, kind of did a little dance. People were really stunned to see him come out on day 1. Usually that doesn't really happen. He didn't speak, but he did appear. But he also named his running mate, Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio. This is getting a lot of praise from some and some criticism from others. At a time when leaders from both sides of the aisle are calling for a cooling down of the rhetoric currently in our political state, it's nice to see that things are going well so far for the RNC. I mean, a lot of people are on social media right now calling it more of a party or a state fair vibe, especially outside when people are walking around. It seems like a lot of people are just simply enjoying our city right now. And that's stunning given what happened over the weekend. But that doesn't mean safety isn't a high priority as well. They are focusing on that too. We have our Amanda Becker. She's out there right now at one of the check-in points right now. Amanda, tell us where you are and what you're seeing this morning for our viewers at home.
Good morning, Alex. This is one of 5 vehicle checkpoints.
Justin, sounds like perfect weather for the RNC here in Milwaukee. I know lots of people will be looking forward to no showers for the rest of the week. But continuing our RNC coverage of day 2 here at Fiserv Forum, there's been so much that's happened already just on day 1. Day 2 is set to be packed. But from day 1, we saw exactly what Milwaukee business owners wanted: revenue.
Great place. It reminds me of the South.
But seeing wet pasta served on wood was a turnoff, which of course we can all understand. I'm sure you guys usually just eat it on a plate or something, but be sure to stick with us the rest of today and the week for RNC coverage both on the air and online at CBS58.com. But, you know, as I say, life is full of possibilities, guys.
It is. It is.
There is a lot of excitement here inside Fiserv Forum, and there will be certainly tonight on the second day of the RNC. But people are also getting a huge welcome, delegates especially outside of Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee. They're enjoying our city just as they should be. We have a lot to offer. Nikki Haley will actually be speaking today at the RNC. She was originally not invited to the convention, but yes, she will be here today. So we went through security this morning. I'll say it was a very simple process, very smooth. They did 2 cars at a time, but we're going to check back in with Amanda Becker in just a bit on that. Here's another look at the security zones this morning. If you take a look at the yellow portion on your screen, calls for vehicles to be screened. There are 5 locations set up for those screenings. No vehicles are allowed in the orange inner perimeter, though. That's where you'll also need an RNC credential to get in. And I mentioned Amanda. We mentioned that heightened security protocol now in place. We learned it requires a lot of credentials. There's a process. Amanda, tell us where you are right now and what are you seeing?
Yeah, we're outside of one of those 5 vehicle checkpoints.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Mike and Frankie. We're live this morning at Fiserv Forum for day 2 of the Republican National Convention here in Milwaukee. All eyes across the nation are on us during this week. We've had a lot of big news coming out of day 1. Former President Donald Trump is officially the Republican nominee. That happened through what's known as the roll call of states. And returning to our coverage of the Republican National Convention, we're here at Fiserv Forum for day 2, which should be another packed day. We saw a lot of news happening yesterday, but so far the convention has done just what business owners had hoped for: generate revenue.
Great. There are actually some really good tacos here in Milwaukee.
So I guess there is a lot to talk about, especially the tacos here in town.
You know, Milwaukee's such a welcoming place.
Yeah.
Well, it's quiet right now inside Fiserv Forum. There will be a lot of excitement, a lot of sound coming later tonight around 5 o'clock or so. But people are also getting a huge welcome outside of these perimeters, outside of Fiserv Forum, here in our city of Milwaukee. Booze, food, you name it. Beauty products. You never thought all these things would be in one spot, but here they are. Day 2 of the RNC, if you want to check it out. Mike, it looks like there's something for everybody.
Yeah, and that's kind of the section that they were saying, you know, it had a state fair vibe to it.
Yeah, I think Bill said that yesterday, and I was chuckling because I was like, yeah, it kind of does remind me of a state fair.
Yeah.
Assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump. They had heightened security measures here at the RNC around the area and inside Fiserv Forum. But of course, Mayor Johnson says they're confident after 18 months of planning that things will be just fine. For now, reporting in Fiserv Forum, I'm Alex Corradetti for CBS 58 News.